Vi, which we saw BLG open up their series versus WE with.
You know, you mentioned EDG having counter. I think they really have to give that to Sinian because he has got such a difficult test ahead of him here. And you have to give this man all the help you can get, essentially. We're going to see a Rumble first pick coming through here for BLG. It's a bit of a bin classic. He's got a couple of them, Rumble being one of them. On the other side, this hover coming through, this would be a great takeaway from BLG. They've been so good on Ashe Seraphine.
Ashe Seraphine would be nice. You can also try to play another one, but I'm a dummy, so why would I even decide we're going to just go for maybe Ashe? Anything else? Strong lane. I don't think there are very many ways that BLG will be able to break this in the early game, so it's all about what can we do outside of the lane to make it a little bit unstable. It also allows for EDG now to go for more bruisery kind of styles of play. Xin Zhao definitely gets a ton of value from having a Seraphine next to him. We're seeing from BLG instead, they're just going to try to answer with outranging their opponents, whether that's with the Equalizer and Ezreal, or just using the Tempered Fate to make an immobile carry like this bot lane just crack under the pressure.
I like that you mentioned going out of the lane to see success. Remember, in the last series on, had a lot of struggles with getting caught out early on a champion that you are going to put yourself in a little bit more danger when roaming around, not only picking up chimes, but trying to make ganks happen. You could magical journey the wrong way and very quickly stack up the second column in your kill score. Second half of ban's going to be starting up here. I really like what EDG has already put together. What do you think they got to take out on the side of BLG as we already see Nefiri gone?
I think Nefiri is actually really, really smart. Just things are going to get on top of these carries right now. I'm looking at mid lane. I mean, we've seen no Annie right now. And in a game where there is very limited crowd control from BLG, I would not be surprised to see things like the Annie or even things like Lee Sin to start popping up, as those are ways that you can try to disrupt them. Ryze being the takeaway, it really does feel like we are kind of moving in towards getting the champion that I had just mentioned. So that, and also the kind of just pointing at the fact that Sinian's, most of his champions are now gone from what we've seen so far in the regular season, right? Cassio's banned, Ori's banned, Rumble's taken away now. I doubt we're getting Mel this early on.
A1 Fizz, who says no? They gave him counterpick for a reason. They realized they were like, hey, if we don't want to have the situation happen where AL flexed TF top when we picked Fizz, well, we'll just give ourselves counterpick all the time. Problem solved, right? Andy going to be the final ban out of BLG, so those mid laners getting taken away. Vi, also the focus on EDG's side. Want to make sure that Leave is able to operate and really shine here in this match against the man on the other side who he's looked up to for so long.
I think Xin Zhao is strong. You do need somebody that's going to help connect Ezreal with the rest of your team. I think Wukong's a bit slow, but can definitely punish. I just think... What do I think? Like, if Wukong got buffed on this patch, why not just pick it? Longest hover of all time, we get Lee Sin instead. This is more kind of what I wanted to see. And if Lee Sin's going to fly forward, then that means that it's more likely that the Seraphine ultimate is going to be able to follow through and get an extension here. BLG, how are we going to piece this team comp together right now? Because without Jarvan and Vi, I think it's really difficult for your team to actually meaningfully get onto the back line and then also stick on them. Because, again, Ashe Seraphine plus Lee Sin makes this really, really annoying to play.
Poppy could be the move, so that heroic charge is going to get a lot of value once you knock up some of these squishies up against the wall, but also being able to cut out on some of the mobility from this Ambessa and this Lee Sin going to be very important. Now we're just waiting on the final pick here. I'm not a fan of the Victor. I don't think the mid-jungle duo here is particularly strong. I think it will be okay for lane. Now we'll see what EDG wants to put together. Something with some CC seems like it'd be really good. Come on, let's cook.
Do not do that. Do not do that.
Figured he wouldn't. We can get excited. Actually, you know what? Actually, we don't know. We really don't. This man can pull out anything. He can pull out a ham sandwich and we'll be like, heck yeah, man, do it.
Preferably a turkey sandwich for me, but as you were. Okay, EDG, decent lanes. Mbessa Aurora is definitely going to be a little bit squishier, but I think that having a Seraphine alongside that definitely is fine. This 2v2 I think is a lot more deadly for BLG or for EDG, whereas BLG, if they're going to win, it is going to come off the back of the fact that they're going to have things like the Victor, who's very strong in lane and definitely gets stronger once you get later on, you get to his 3-item core. Ezreal is going to be extremely annoying to deal with, but I think is actually matched properly by how Ashe kind of operates. A lot of this game is going to come down to how are we dealing with EDG's bottom lane. I keep coming back to it because Ashe Ultimate versus almost all of these champions from BLG is incredible. Like, Hawkshot, Ultimate, all of these make it impossible, I think, for BLG to operate on in a standard 5-on-5. So they're going to need to break that, and they have ways of doing that thanks to champions like Bard.
No doubt about it. And again, we did say that On has to be on top of it this game, no pun intended, because of those times that he was getting picked off, just making the game very difficult for BLG to play out. But if he can lock it in this time around, again, this EDG team, pretty squishy, right? These Qs going to be dealing a lot of damage in the early game to champions. They're not really going to be able to handle it too well. But Oak Battery, that's enough of us yapping about the draft because we are in game for the final best of 5 of the first round. EDG BLG starts now.
Okay, big fans, big game, elimination on the line here in the lower bracket. So surprising to see them already. Well, see BLG anyway. I think a lot of people were expecting for EDG to go down in their AL series. Looking at the runes, I mean, hey, double Deathfire is not super uncommon, but Storm Raiders seems like it has been the newest adaptation for Poppy players, if you're not going to be taking things like Electrocute and Halo Blades. But looking at this matchup, at a macro sense, Group Nirvana versus Ascend has been, for the most part, Ascend favored, but within the last month, we have seen it completely turn on its head with the multiple wins in the play-ins, with the fact that we also got to see now more Nirvana games against Ascend in this split alone. So within split 3 of last year and now, we're starting to see the Nirvana teams be a lot more competitive with our top teams.
Yeah, I think it's been really nice to see because everybody kind of discounts them a lot. Oh, they don't play a whole lot of games. The players might not be as strong as some of the top 4 teams in Ascend, but I mean, they have proven that they can play very well themselves. We've seen them be competitive in games. We've seen them take some games. I think of Thunder Talk getting that win off of JDG being particularly impressive and also being strong in some of those games. Quite good. So, well, I'm really excited to see the continued growth of these teams going into Split 3 once these playoffs are over. But for right now, EDG are going to have to do some pretty quick growth here, and so far in the bottom lane, it's not looking too bad.
Yep. Junglers are on opposite sides right now, but there is a ward in the river that was placed by ZDZ, hopeful to try to see where this Lee Sin was, and if it kind of prevents ZDZ from getting pushed out early, that would do a lot of favors for him, especially in a matchup where until he gets his ultimate, it is going to be a lot tougher here.
He lost about half of his HP, still trying to get to level 4. And, you know, Bin is a guy who in the last series against Team WE was rather muted for being such a great player. And you can already see him just sort of imposing his will in this top lane, allowing Shun to have complete control of this top side. He'll go and pick up that top grab and go in for the Raptors invade. We'll see if EDG want to respond.
Xiaohao is sticking around mid. I think he just wants to try to cross. They know that Poppy is up here. Getting wards on Xiaohao's Krugs is interesting, mostly by way of just trying to see where this Lee Sin is. This is just good ward coverage now for Bilibili. I mean, now both Bin and Knight know that Xiaohao is in the top side. Bot lane is under no threat. You're playing versus Ashe Seraphine, and you're underneath your turret already. I think just making it more comfortable for strong lanes is kind of the name of the game when we're talking about BLG.
And remember, EDG's big claim to fame really is leveraging their bot lane's early strength to be able to have Xiaohao do whatever he wants, and when he is spotted out this well with good ward coverage, it's going to be difficult for him to try to make some plays. Well, it will be difficult on the other side as well because, you know, BLG has to contend with an Ashe, but I think they're content to just be able to chill out in this early going, let Viper hit his spikes, let Knight get to the late game, and take over from there.
We didn't really set up like many win conditions, mostly just because I think that this game is going to be a little boring with how some of these matchups end up playing out in between the two of them. But Leave has been the biggest win condition for EDG and almost every single team that he has been on. I remember last year being a massive Leave propagandist. I will continue to do so this year as he continues to be one of the most impressive when you look at his stats. He is #1 in damage percentage across every single player in this league. 33.7. He is over a third of his team's damage across all of his games. You look at also his DPM. He is third in the league at 855. He has the second most amount of gold generated per minute, so he is, by every metric that is important to AD carries, I think he is one of the best, but he has not really been able to prove it, and the AL series definitely left. There was not a great performance, I think, from him, barring some mistakes coming in from other parts of his lane. So Ashe, definitely very important here tonight.
With all this early strength, EDG are going to go start up and take the first dragon of the game, the Hextech Dragon. Get a little bit of ability haste on. Going to move into the mid lane here. Maybe just to cover Knight. Sinian going to go in between worlds. Gets him on top of Knight. Be forced to flash away. Very nice play there by EDG to show up.
If Knight doesn't only if Knight flashes and Xiaohao is able to get that Q, by the way, he got ultimate by sitting in the brush and soaking the minion XP there. That could have been Knight dying. So very close trade. We're seeing Shin again. They know the timer for this respawn Krugs, and maybe they're just going to try to make a play on Xiaohao because Bard's here.
Yep, right up against the wall, and there's the magical journey, locking him up with the stun. It's just these two for now, so Xiaohao is going to be able to ward hop away and then hit the blast cone as well. But the top side of the EDG jungle belongs to BLG. Let's see if ZDZ can get out of here. He cancels his recall, and he is going to walk right into the waiting arms of BLG and is now stuck on an island. Xiaohao very low.
Wait a minute.
Is here. Jwei is here too. Jwei's only level 5. Dive might start on, decides to walk over and help out Shun. He's low on mana as well. So it looks like EDG should be able to protect their top lane.
Shun did not have level 6. I was a bit worried, especially because he used the wall slam right onto ZDZ, but wasn't able to get anything. Bidit also uses Equalizer as they were prepping that dive. Maybe Sinian tries to look for something here. Oh, no.
Yep, charge against the wall. Gets knocked up as well. Knight's not quite there yet, so he'll be able to hop away, but Shun is sticking on top of him. Jwei going to be there to save the day. Good roams from him to be able to save his solo laners.
I'm very worried here, Yanni, for EDG. That trade is very, very good for BLG. Sinian walked up. He had full health. He has to take a unforced recall. He's already down 10 CS. And additionally, now a plate does go over to Knight. So all in all, while Shun might be a little bit behind in his clear, he's essentially garnered about a wave and half an HP bar across both of his lanes. Just to grab them some kind of priority and keep them in winning matchups. That's really, really good for BLG's lanes and continues to be. Now, if EDG can control more of the objectives, then this lead ends up being less and less important.
Yeah, prime example of the advantage you got there is in the bottom lane. Took a lot of the heat off of Viper. He's able to establish a bit of a CS lead over Leave. So we'll see if EDG can start pushing the pace a little bit here. This is an early game-centric team that we expect to make some plays. On to Magical Journey, not all the way through.
Oh,
so try to make some moves in the Raptor Pit. Has those blue suede shoes on. He's able to sidestep, but Xiaohao is going to claim the Raptors.
Wasn't able to land the beat drop, so kind of sucks. That could have been a kill onto On. He's able to get out using the Magical Journey and the like. We contested for Raptors. Man, Jwei has been roaming. Both of our supports have, and it's quite normal for a Bard to be active on the map, but seeing a Seraphine, you know, she's doing a world tour right now, and she already did that when we had the animatronics for Worlds. I didn't need to see KDA make a reappearance here.
Well, now he's at level 6, so should be able to make a pretty noticeable impact in these fights. On's just trying to soak mid-wave EXP to try to get his Tempered Fate online. Gonna go and pick up a grub here for the side of EDG. BLG will then pick up the other two. So just some early objective trading here. But these teams really feeling each other out early. And I think BLG looks a little bit sharper here in game 1 than they did in their last series versus Team WE.
Looking at the quest experience right now, and you can see that extremely felt in the lanes. Bin's almost done with his lane. With his role quest, ZDZ is 3/4 of the way. Mid lane a lot further along right now, and while mid lane's role quest has definitely been tampered down going into split 2, getting that extra experience for the Rumble is going to feel nice, especially alongside having the plated steel caps and the upgraded TP afterwards. That health shield is going to feel incredible, so good to see that BLG are getting rewarded for what has been a very proactive early game, even if it's been less bloody. I did say this was going to be a boring game, folks, and it is turning out that is true.
It has unfortunately lived up to expectations so far, but with the Dragon coming up in about 30 seconds, maybe, just maybe, that will change. All taking a look at some of the items here. No fully completed ones, but you've got a Sheen on Viper, a Hextech Alternator on Sinian. That is generally good enough for either of these teams to feel pretty comfortable with where they're at in terms of trying to fight for this next objective.
And it makes it easier, I think, for EDG to want to contest for this. I think BLG are going to definitely have to outplay their opponents here. They have ways of being able to deal damage, but it's just not as impactful. I think Dragon's Rage plus the duo of Ashe Seraphine makes it unenticing for BLG to walk forward here. But if they don't land their spells, then that opens up a window here. BLG, I'm worried. You really want to try to contest.
Keeper's Verdict missed. Flash by Shun. There's that Tempered Fate. TPs are coming in. ZDZ has been so good with them, and he's going to land very quickly and try to rip Shun apart, but Leave is in trouble when he goes down. It's first blood tonight. And now we're going to look over to Xiaohao.
Oh my God!
Gets on top of the Dragon, and he takes it away for EDG, but they are losing the fight badly. BLG run him over.
That was a very messy fight from both of our teams here, and it ends up going in favor of BLG. Yes, the Dragon to EDG means that maybe we could see them use a Dragon stacking win condition to bring them back into this, but I just think the gold that we see from BLG makes this game very, very untenable. As we look back in this fight, some ultimates used to not much effect. Great flash coming in from Shun, and then this ultimate from On I think completely changes how this goes. You're getting flashes out from the bot lane of EDG, this massive wall slam from Shun alongside the equalizer, and Knight, by the way, is just cooking them at the same time. The solo lanes of BLG get paid massively. Xiaohao flash queued, uses the Tempest, and has to auto attack to get the Dragon. That is not the position you want to be in as EDG. We were basically going up for an auto trade on the objective.
In the slightest, and this has been a lot of the problems that EDG have had in some of these objective fights. They get a little bit split up. It happened again. It's Jwei and Leave flashing in different directions, and all of a sudden, EDG's fighting a 2v4s essentially, and that is never a winning position. BLG now have this 2,000 gold lead, almost 2,500 gold. Next objective is going to be this Herald in a little bit, but you know they want to push this pace a little bit sooner.
Usually when I'm hearing 2-2-2-2-2, I'm thinking of ballerinas, but we've seen EDG dance.
Well, Leave's gonna have to dance, and he danced right into a wall. Viper picks up his 3rd kill. Already that Trinity Force after that recall, and this looks like standard operating procedure for BLG.
And 2 grubs, by the way, with that Trinity Force. The turret's going to take a hell of a lot of damage. Xiaohao is trying to fish. It'll get the Arcane Shift, but that's not really the trade you wanted to take with your 80 carry going down. BLG find themselves with a 3,000 gold difference right now, 13 minutes. And it does put into question, can BLG continue this lead? We have seen them garner advantages before already in playoffs. To mixed success, obviously them being in the lower bracket already. But I think, Yanni, this next Dragon in 2.5 minutes, if BLG able to grab that one, I think EDG's chances of being able to win this game become very, very slim.
Certainly could close the door on him. Here's public execution. On trying to head up to save Bin here, getting quite low, and the shield is there. ZDZ will be able to finish him off, but gets slowed up on the way out, takes another turret shot. will be able to live, so EDG gets something back for their trouble.
They're going to equalize the top lane matchup, and Best is going to be able to push. Maybe Xiaohao can steal some camps away. This Fey Light should have spotted Xiaohao, and it does. Just get plates right now, guys. That's all that really matters. Bard is just more of a distraction measure. Look what's happening on the bot side. We're playing towards the victor. We're making sure that Sinian cannot step up. And if Xiaohao gets caught here, I'm in...
Just worried for
We're all fine. We're all fine. Do they get the turret bot lane? Thank you to our observers. This looks like a full turret going down in favor of BLG.
It's so hard. Sinian just can't step up. It's a bit of a rough matchup at times aimed into the victor, and with Knight being as strong as he is right now, there's not too much you could do. So I think this is a measured choice here by EDG to try to get ZDZ, who's going to spike a little bit earlier, going for some of these mid-game fights, get him prepped for this next dragon in 1 minute and 20 seconds, long before Knight is well and truly going to be a late-game victor.
A minute before this dragon, and we still have Herald that is on the table as well. What is EDG's choice? Because you have a Hex Optics here for the Ashe, so you have some kind of damage. Sinian's trying to cancel Knight's recall. This could give them good conditions going into this next dragon. Knight has no TP. Being a little bit delayed means that BLG's ability to posture is going to have to change. Maybe they just try to go for him, but I mean, Bard can show up very quickly in this fight. And I say all that, Yanni, basically to kind of bring about the fact that we're going to be walking into this with a lot of summoner spells back up, and I don't know if EDG necessarily have the ability to contest for this next dragon, just with everything that's been going on here in this game.
It's so difficult. They're going to have to catch somebody by surprise. You would expect them to really try to leverage this Enchanted Crystal Arrow. They haven't really tried to make any pick plays when it's off cooldown, but before an objective or anything like that. So I think that EDG playing their cards a little bit too close to the vest here. With the Herald being picked up by BLG, Shun takes his recall, is going to head out to the bottom side of this map. With this dragon up in 5 seconds, EDG taking control of this mid lane.
Herald taken there by BLG is really, really strong because Shun's already deployed onto the bot side of the map. There's not a ton of ward coverage from both teams. It's merely just EDG having all of the wards in the river and the scuttle being in favor of BLG. ZDZ is preemptively teleporting to this. Bin would have to match afterwards. He's not going to even be able to recall. They can use the Herald as a battle bus.
Okay, here we go. Knock up, not going to land on anybody. Temper Fate lands on the 2 bot laners again. Shun gets a stun off on ZDZ, and the dragon secured by BLG.
Oh my!
Kick to kick Viper to the team, but a shift. He's alive. He flashes. Viper is putting the moves on these guys, and Xiaohao can't take them down. BLG again take the fight to EDG.
Well, they win the fight. They style on their opponents, and now they're going to get 2 turrets off of this. Yanni, that feels like the closer has joined this game. Viper gets away from a Hail Mary play coming in from EDG, and now doubles their goal difference that they had right before that fight, and maybe even looking to grab themselves 3 turrets in just 1 trade.
In the playoffs, you sometimes bring in your closer earlier, and he said this game is over now, perhaps. An excellent play that you'll see in this replay.
I mean, gets the cleanse there from his team afterwards, but the dragon not going over. Almost a frame-perfect shift coming in from Viper to survive the arrow. And EDG look desperate now. They need to find something.
Oh, they're going to try to find On. He is that something, but ZDZ cannot continue the Drakehound step. Not going to do a whole lot of good when your abilities are on cooldown, and Knight will be able to keep everybody on EDG away, and here comes the rest of BLG. Another Tempered Fate landing onto Jwei. ZDZ getting a lot of shielding onto the backside. He will be able to take out On, but he will fall himself. It is another favorable play for BLG.
Well, if you're a fan of EDG, you got the shutdown onto Bard. But everything else about that is completely in Bilibili's favor, as they got the turret anyway. 2 turrets after that, and you get another 2 kills. A problem that we had for Edward Gaming is their coordination from their playoff series just wasn't quite there, and it seems like that is still the case going on here. Just emote on him. Emote on him, Shun. Have fun.
Do it.
You know this game is cooked.
Look at his player cam. You know, that man is always having fun. There's only one thing in his brain at any given time, and it is usually fun. 19 minutes into this game, and you know BLG are having it. 7,000 gold lead, but as you said earlier, we have been here before with BLG in the playoffs, no less, where they've had a lead and tossed it away. I think it's going to be a lot harder this time around.
Yeah. I just look at items. You're having a 2-item Ezreal at 19 minutes. The Mermon is completed. The Trinity Force is there. He already has 5 stacks of his Gluttonous Greaves. I'm looking at our solo lanes, which we definitely played a lot for in the early game, and Bin's on 2. Knight is on 2.5. He already has some stacks on his Darkscale as well. I just think it's too hard of a game to play. And if this composition was played by a different team, I might give them the benefit of the doubt. But just the coordination that we've seen from EDG is lacking, and that makes it harder for me to justify or give any kind of real conditions for them to play. On top of the fact, Yanni, that they also lost that third dragon fight. If they got that, I would be giving, I'd be a little bit more confident in their chances if they were on Soul Point.
And that's something that we've talked about, right? Is that lack of coordination at times where they just kind of get a little too split up. It's something that has really plagued them the entire split. It was a problem when Angel was starting. It's still been a problem when Sunian's playing. So, they will, again, have time to correct it in Split 3. This feels like the ultimate, house
It's game
money.
It's game one.
Yeah, I'm saying that, they're still...
Sure.
They still have these problems. It's not something that's gonna immediately get fixed here in the playoffs. But when you need it to against BLG's EDZ on the side lane getting picked off by multiple members of BLG, and there's no response on the other side.
Oh, Xiaohao's walking in, trying to catch out Knight. Good use of the Rocket Belt to live. BLG are just taking all of... There's an Ashe ultimate. Not gonna land.
Okay.
Oh.
Certainly we're... Oh, they are...
Let's go to game 2.
They're desperate.
Let's go to game 2 after that one.
Are you sure? It's still early, as you just said a moment ago. It's
earlier than Split 3 for sure.
True. Here comes Shun right over the wall, right on top of Jwei. Encore lands on the 2. Unfortunately for Jwei, they did not like the music very much. BLG will be able to get another pick here, and it feels like they are just kind of playing with their food at this point.
Look, EDG, they tried to overextend. They tried to look for somebody that was out. They got Knight's flash. But the play completely turns on its head once the rest of the Bilibili boys get back in and find themselves here in this game. So you're up 10,000 gold. I feel much better about their ability to end this game than I did in their first series of playoffs. And I think this was a very well-played game from them. It was slow to start, and still, by all means, in terms of the kill count, it's definitely a slower and lower kill game. But I think Shun has done a lot for opening up and getting a ton of information. That is something that is usually hard to match versus a champion like Ashe when you have essentially free map packs.
Yeah, they were able to shut down Xiaohao a lot. All right, Enchanted Crystal landed onto On. Here comes the teleport in from Bin as Xiaohao is between turrets. He's looking for Knight. He flash kicks into the public execution. Knight trying to stun them all up, but he will go down. It's a Xiaohao shutdown, but Bin is ready to burn EDG to a crisp. On trying to get away, will Tempered Fate himself as well as EDZ. Flashes over the wall. There's an emote. This is an emote time. Come on, bro.
Yeah. Viper, he's going to throw a stray W just to see them. I see pings on to Baron here, Yanni. I think we're starting the purple worm.
Why the heck not? Knight's up in 17 seconds. He can TP in. Bit of a risky play here, but we'll see if Jwei, Leave, and Sunian can force a BLG off and maybe get something out of it. At least force them off, but nothing to be had.
All right. So I can already feel the one guy from the ether of Twitch chat saying, why are they trying to hunt Knight? What is this obsession with the MVP of the regular season? Well, Knight has a fairly large shutdown at this point, and you just need gold. You also have the pity prizes called objective bounties that are available on the outer turrets and all of these plates. There's a ton of crystalline overgrowth. So the play from EDG when you're down 9,000 gold is go objective bounty hunting. If you've got a bounty on your head, we want the gold. We're already down 9,000. We're already going to lose a lot of regular 5-on-5, so we need to do something. We need to create numbers plays on the opposite side. This is probably Sinian getting out using the Between Worlds. Great job. And they did get that bounty, but the game is kind of chalked at this point, so you need to do more. And look, there's still big gold. If they cash out Viper, that's 1,000 gold out of the 9.
I think my biggest question in this game, Alk, is Sunian going to die? He is 0-0-1. He's
probably going to die
yet to
once.
take this man down.
He's going to die once. I have a feeling we're going to have a base defense, and he's going to be the last player up, and they're just going to try to hunt him. There's the value of the Bard, as we saw in real time. If Seraphine has Flash, if the Ashe has Flash, you just throw the Tempered Fate on them, and they lose that Summoner spell. Or they die. Or sometimes, if it's really like Super Christmas, you get both.
Yeah, just like what happened to that first dragon fight that BLG wanted to contest. Yeah. You know, you hit them, and you got the Flash, and you got the kill. It's you know, Christmas did come a little bit early. We're getting to about the 25-minute mark here. BLG has not been able to extend their lead any further. We have yet to see them actually start the Baron here. EDG playing rather measured, but BLG not really setting up any traps at this point.
And as this game continues to progress, we're just going to still talk about it from BLG's perspective, because the fact that they have a 2,500 gold lead in both Knight and Viper means that they're going to stay an item ahead of their opponents. So at any point in this game, if you're thinking to yourself, man, EDG might be able to come back, we'll see depending on the game state, but I think if your carries are essentially a full item ahead of you, you should, by most measurements, not be allowed to win fights. And also, Bin is up 2 levels, which we keep coming back to. He was our head-to-head, but this game was kind of decided. Oh, there you go.
Get out of there. All right.
Very cheeky.
CDZ is all good. This would be the prime opportunity just to rip the Baron, because why not? But, I mean, yeah, if BLG lose this game somehow, I mean, this would just be... I don't really have a word for it. The kind of
I think Jwei's
dead. That would have occurred, but I don't think that's going to happen. Encore going to land on the Viper. He'll immediately cleanse it. You can just see those big yellow chunks that happen when somebody is very strong and you don't have a lot of health. Sinian will unfortunately meet his first death. It will be at the hands of Viper, who's picking up a double kill.
There's the Baron. I think we have a Baron on our hands here, Yanni. And BLG, that means that they're going to get to 10,000 gold lead again. They're going to take the Nexus turrets or the inhib turrets. They're going to go up to 14,000. That sounds like inflation. It's probably going to be 12, but...
Israel coming through into leave. Oh, wow, he is below half HP, and Shaker Slayer lands on a Knight. Here comes Xiaohao, but Knight with a nice buffer there gets kicked away. ZDZ is now being chased down by Bin. When a taser does that much damage, it's just so difficult.
He just wins this, by the way.
In the 2v1, cooking some shrimp on the Bobby, flashing after ZDZ. A double kill for him as well. That 10k gold barrier has been broken. EDG have been broken, and the Baron to BLG.
Yeah, there's the Baron. And hey, look, there's even a dragon up. Don't think it's going to be important. They're still hunting for a Knight. EDG, I think we got to go after Viper. It's really tough to get on him. I thought we were going to see this Ashe and Seraphine, but they have just not really linked. We have not seen this 2v2 kind of work together. Ezreal has been the counter, or the chosen counter here in pro play towards this champion, and without any kind of hard crowd control, like something like a Nautilus to be able to get onto the Ezreal, it has become virtually impossible for them to actually kill this champion. So 5th dragon of the game, 3 Infernal Drakes. They are really, really ahead. Like, I know it says 12k, it's gonna feel like 14 because 3 Infernal Drakes with their builds right now, they pack a hell of a punch.
That's a lot of extra percentage. That's 9% adaptive getting added to the abilities and auto attacks of BLG as the siege is on here on the bottom inhibitor turret.
God.
That thing got destroyed in just a couple of moments. The inhibitor going down next. We still see ZDZ pushing in this top wave. He really wants that turret, wants to make sure that EDG at least pick up a structure this game. Yeah. And he does get it and immediately starts his recall as the siege continues.
Wow, I thought I was saying inflation. This might actually be a 14,000 gold lead here for BLG. As they get 2 inhibitors, they still have the Baron for another minute and a half. They're just wailing away on turrets. EDG need to do something, but they have no damage.
Keeper's verdict lands onto 2, but BLG has been here before and has failed to finish. I don't think that'll happen again, but it might be in the back of their minds. Xiaohao goes in and is immediately going to have to go out. The Between Worlds lands, but I don't see anybody's health bar dropping except for Benz as he gets blown up. It's a shutdown to ZDZ. Lead getting burned away for the Arcane Sword, but Knight got charmed up. ZDZ's on this backside trying to get in this damage. EDG still alive somehow. It's a 3v3. Xiaohao's got to get back to the fountain to heal up though on Knight and Viper. Continue to try to end the game. The last Nexus turret has fallen. Xiaohao gets to Viper and falls, and BLG, was there really ever any doubt, will take game 1 fairly easily.
Yeah, there it is. All right, so I still lied. It wasn't 14, but 13. Just round up. Round up a little extra just for me.
Yeah.
BLG take a very, very resounding win here in game number 1. Slow to start. Didn't have as many potholes, but I would attribute that to the lack of ability from EDG to really get much done. Like, we didn't see this mid-jungle move around too much. I think Shun was doing a really good job of getting information alongside on, just so that the solo lanes were set up, and we did not see their actual team fight prowess that I was looking for from the composition.
Not at all. It just felt like this Ashe Seraphine was never able to do anything in these skirmishes. They were so uncomfortable the entire time, mostly from On. I think On played a really fantastic game in the fights that mattered early on, and from there, when you can play so well early that the fights later just don't matter, you have certainly done your work in this game. I'm already ready to say, hey man, I could give him an MVP. I think Shun is also a good shout, as I know you've been you know, talking about how integral he was to this game, but I think On was too.
I mean, there is very little that I think I could be like really critical of BLG here in this game one, and to their credit, I want to see that from our first seed. Yes. We should be more critical of our first seed. Not even withstanding the loss that they had previously, they should be held to a much higher bar when we're talking about this team. They are obviously very tenured players across the entirety of the roster, and we do look at this team as the hopefuls to be big even at the beginning of the year, they're supposed to be like the super team. This is yet another super team being brought in for the LPL, and we want to see that. And hopefully this series, if they do end up winning it, this should be a confidence series for them to then go into the JDG matchup and further beyond.
The Get Right series. Sometimes every team needs that, just that. Yeah, you know, we can run these guys over, you know, get in, get out, go get food afterward, and you know, we're on to the next matchup here. And that game 1 certainly could have been an email, to be honest. And BLG, just absolute domination. EDG got what they wanted. We talked about it, how against AL, they don't really draft for their bot lane too well, I think, for them to have a lot of strength. They did that here. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. No gas in the tank.
Yeah, I just did not like the way that the Ashe Seraphine ended up kind of be played out. Like, yes, the lane was fine, but then we didn't get to really use Jwei properly in these fights, and I think that is less on the player, on the Seraphine, and more on how the entire 5-on-5 ended up kind of breaking out. Just the Lee Sin plus Seraphine combo never really got working. A lot of the early game might have been different if Xiaohao actually landed some of those Sonic waves that we saw throw out. So it's a misexecute from them for sure. But I also think that they just got out-handsed in a lot of scenarios. Like, this Poppy was incredible. I think On was just more effective from the support position than his counterpart. And like I mentioned during the game, like, Ezreal is literally untouched in like almost all of these fights. And in the fights that he did kind of get clapped up, this fight, he literally smurfs on them and they win.
That was just so awesome. It was a classic Viper play, honestly. And he sidesteps that twofold hex that's coming over the wall from Sinian. I mean, that was just super sick. Slayer, go break down that team fight, you know, later on. I know that you like breaking down team fights for AD carries. That's one of them you got to break down. And yeah, I think this just goes to show that we're this late into the game in terms of highlights of how utterly dominant this game was for BLG because they want to give EDG some sort of shine here, and I think Killing Knight was the shine that they were looking for. Like, yep, we got him, boys. We can go home. We killed the MVP.
A through line that I want to have for folks that were watching the AL series, or the WEBLG series, is me and Grape spent a lot of time doing a lot of marketing for BLG. We were giving them big praise. We were big up in them as the favorite to win. I mean, I have publicly said that I think that BLG are the highest likelihood to win the LPL in Split 2. That has obviously aged very poorly. Has aged a little poorly. Maybe not fully poorly yet. But when I look at series like this, I think it's very easy for community members to look and say, like, it's EDG. This is going to be 3-0. I think there was moments in this game where you could say, like, if EDG were not as far behind, they might have actually been able to come back. Like, just this base defense alone made me a little worried. I was okay, how are you down 10,000 gold and we're still kind of making it look a little playable?
Yeah, I mean, you're outside of the turret range here. There's only one turret still left standing, and this somehow ends up becoming a 3v3. You know, that again, something that we've seen them struggle with is when they get to this Nexus, they just kind of get cold feet. They're like, do we really want to end the game, guys? I don't know. But, I mean, one thing that you said is certainly true, that you and Grapes were doing a lot of BLG glazing. I believe you said, and I quote, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, see you later to EDG if BLG gets sent to the lower bracket. They did.
I still feel that's the case. I predicted this is a 3-0, so until they prove me wrong, I have zero qualms of seeing BLG win here tonight. It's the expected favorites. EDG have played a significantly less amount of games just by way of being in Group Nirvana, and BLG's game count this year is, I think, the second highest of any pro team playing in Tier 1. The only team that beats them right now is JDG.
Yeah, those boys have played a lot of games. I mean, we play a lot of games here in the LPL.
Good.
There's an odd MVP. He had a fantastic game. I feel very vindicated, and I called it. We're in lockstep with the official broadcast. That's always nice. I mean, he really showed it. I mean, if you don't get an MVP out of your support for that game, how are you ever going to get an MVP on support?
You'll just get it on the Lux game that's coming up, right? That's the plan here.
Not
Definitely
if you're going the Shirelius build.
Well, who knows? Good job to BLG, but now we need to see how their opponents are going to adapt going into the rest of this. As a best of 5, anything could happen. We could potentially, in 3 hours, be talking about EDG very differently if the future is against Oh, we had some Viper votes.
Oh, okay. That's valid.
We had one Shun vote. Thank you to my summoners. My summoners knew where the bread was buttered, but not enough. Not enough.
Yeah, I think the summoners are onto something. I think that if we had one 80 carry vote swapped to a Shun vote, could have felt pretty good about that as a whole. But, you know, you are absolutely right. Anything can happen in a 5-game series. It can go very long, and a lot of things could change between now and the end of the series. And one thing that could change is that some of you, yes, you in the audience, could become Coffee members to support the LPL English broadcast. Coffee is the best way to support our LPL English project because the vast majority of your contributions go directly into the show. A lot of the initial payments go into upgrading the broadcast, but a large bulk of it pays on-air talent like myself and Alk Battery, and content creators like me one time and Alk Battery all of the time. Subscribe to our Coffee, which is going to be linked in the chat, and you can unlock perks like early access to content and the ability to ask interview questions for our unique on-site interviews. I see you.
Best part about it, by the way, you don't have to make a membership. I know some people might say, hey, I don't know if I really want to subscribe. You can also just do one-time donations, which is great. Still helps out the show, and with affordability being on everybody's minds nowadays globally, memberships are not always super feasible. But if you do feel like you can and you're able to, always feels great. We thank you. Even if you're just a viewer, still love you.
Yep, we appreciate every single one of you. It sounds like we're going away for a while, but we're only going away for just a little bit. We're going to go to a short break, and when we return, the Game 2 draft between EDG and BLG will be on your screen. See you soon.